We are live.
Deaky.
Excuse me.
Deaky.
I can't hear you. There's something going on with
Whose
your
problem is that?
something going on with your sound.
Testing.
That's better.
Okay. I didn't do anything, so I'm not sure what it was, but I said, "Freaky deaky, your room. It looks like the lights went off, and then that one red emergency light came on."
That's right. Because you know what? It is an emergency today in the United States of America.
Talk to me.
It's an emergency. If we don't, you know what's at stake for this election, Josh?
A lot.
Everything.
The heart and soul of our country.
Everything.
I like the the Democratic strategy of just calling everyone weird.
I am more, and maybe this is just how it goes when you get older, but I am more interested and invested into this election cycle than I ever have been for a previous one. And not because of the issues, obviously those are important, but it's just so interesting how each of the candidates are going about it in such different ways, and totally. I can't get enough of it. I can't it's the Democrats are, if it was just two candidates doing policies, like my policies this, your policies that, like that's one, whatever. That's what happens every other time an election with someone not named Donald Trump.
Bush Kerry or Obama McCain, where they talked about the issues and they tried to seem as responsible as possible. This is like, I said the same thing to Allison, and she's too discouraged by the current state of politics to enjoy what's happening. Not me. And like the whole reason is it's fascinating. It's so fascinating to watch how each political party pushes the buttons of the other party and rallies their base, and like the mind games that go into making a decision, like who's going to be Kamala's vice president. It's fascinating. Like Josh Shapiro, good pick. Probably didn't give him enough in Pennsylvania to counteract the fact that he's young and Jewish and a supporter of what Israel's doing in Gaza. That comes with risk, right? So you bring in Grandpa Waltzy.
He's an old 60 years old. He's an old 60.
He's a very old 60. Yeah.
But
it looks like he's done 60 more than once.
You listen to that guy talk, man. He brings it.
Magic. Yeah. He's magic. And like he really does look like the grandpa you just want to hug.
And then you got a guy. Well, then you got a guy like Donald Trump. No,
right.
And then he was in Georgia. So he was in Georgia, and I saw a little news clip, because now obviously my Instagram algorithm is feeding me all this stuff. And so he's in Atlanta. Brian Kemp's the governor in Atlanta, and also the one he called last election to try to get him to overturn some votes. You remember that?
We're talking about 1,200 votes.
I need to find 12,180 votes.
If you need,
which is one more than we had. So he goes there.
Blacks.
Brian Kemp is a very popular Republican governor in Georgia.
Yeah,
he got elected there, obviously, but he won apparently with significant support. Right, like these were big wins for him. And he goes on stage, and all he does is just trash the governor that all these people voted for. Right? Those are the people at his rally. Like, if you're sitting at home, he's like, he's very disloyal. He's a terrible governor. It's like, wait a second. I mean, we voted for this guy. What are you talking about? Can you just leave it alone? Like, you don't have to say anything about it, but don't tell us that we're stupid.
Yeah,
It's just he just can't help himself, and it's so funny.
he can't help himself, and he by giving in to the urge to not help himself, to like he's loved more. It just fuels the whole thing more and more, which makes it even more
Mhm.
confusing, right? Like he's at the point now where I don't I don't know how you couldn't think that he's simply out for retribution and revenge, right? That seems to
Yeah,
be
right.
his like he can't cope with the fact that he lost to Joe Biden, and he's probably bummed that he's not going to have. Well, I'm sure he's upset he's not going against Biden. Like, think about it. After that debate, that man in his head walked off that stage saying, "I'm going to be fucking president again," right? And then they give him the old
Yeah.
1-2 switcheroo, and now he's tied in the polls after being up 10 points or 8, whatever it was.
Well,
And then
did you
he
see
and
that
then he
his
get then he
he's
almost gets shot.
he did get shot.
That's true. That's
When's the
true. He
last time
almost
we
gets
talked
he
about
almost
that?
gets his head blown off.
He doesn't even bring that up anymore. If I was him, that's all I'd be talking about. I
Same.
almost got killed. But,
It's it's
did you
it's
see
also
his
fascinating how,
latest?
like, the momentum got squandered from that.
It's not. Yeah, I was as soon as that happened and the shock wore off, I thought, you know what? We talk about mass shootings in this country for 2 days after they
Different
happen, and then we
president of
move
the United
on.
States was a dude, if he hadn't turned, that's it, game over, and no matter what, that changes a person. To be this close from lights out changes someone. Good or bad, we don't know, but, like, how does that not rattle you to your core?
I'd imagine I've never been almost shot to death, but
Well, have
yeah,
you ever
for
had, like, a
sure.
close call for, like, an accident or something, and you kinda get that moment of, like, "Oh, man, life is precious."
Oh, yeah,
Like,
dude. I mean, I fucking had
he's gotta be
cancer.
having
Come
that
on.
oh, yeah, that's right. My gosh, what am I talking about? So, you do know.
Yeah, but it doesn't seem like it's affected him.
Yeah, that's true, actually.
Because if it did, he would be talking about it, right? If that was what he was on his
He
mind, he'd
did.
obviously be bringing it up.
He did at the beginning. He did say, "I'm a changed man."
Sure.
He said, like, a lot of those things, and then but again, like, that's still when Biden was the candidate, and there was a certain momentum. It was after the debate, like, he was America's sweetheart, and then it was over
In 3 days, I'm telling you.
in
Well,
3 days.
he didn't
Yeah,
do much to help. He didn't do much to help him to keep that momentum going either. I mean, he immediately went back into his old mode, and it's like, okay. Because he
yeah.
did say that. He's like, we need to stop this. We need to unite America." And then it's like, then he's like, "And the people coming across the border. Your governor is terrible." Did you see his new thing? He's so he's got such a he's so mad that Joe Biden is now out of the race
Yeah,
that he is floating the theory. I mean, he posted this on his thing, his Truth
yeah.
Social,
Truth Social, yeah.
that Joe Biden really wants to come back and be the nominee, and he's going to go back to the Democratic National Convention and take back the nomination. He's like, "I'm
I
hearing it
love
from people. I'm hearing it from people."
yeah, Trump's pretty good. I
Thanks.
would love to see Joe Biden try to physically take back literally anything. I'd
He's
like to
just
see
so
Joe
mad.
Biden try to take back his seat on the bus that someone else sat down in. He's not capable. Just to picture Joe Biden storming into the DNC and demanding candidacy be restored.
Yeah, right. So,
I can't remember. I
aside
think I
from
said
that
this to you.
fact
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
aside from that, the fact that it's just a ridiculous thing that would happen, that's not happening. That's never been Joe Biden's not doing that. He gets it at this point, right?
Of
But
course not.
Donald
Well,
Trump is like, he's gonna start by debating me again. I mean, this guy is he's trying to just float this theory because he's like, I want to run against Joe Biden.
yeah, he's like, I
I don't
liked.
want to run against. I don't want to run against Kamala.
His campaign was going much better when it was against Joe Biden. Can we do that again? Remember, I almost got
That's what I
shot.
want.
It was, things were good. I was polling better. But that's him. Like anytime something isn't exactly the way he wants it to be, he just talks about how unfair it is to him. It's really crazy when you think about the things that he's said in public and how many of them would have been stop the presses moments when we were growing up. Like there's been too many to count now, and we all have become desensitized to it. But the fact that a political presidential candidate, a former president, even a sitting president, has whined to the American people about how unfair things are to him. It's just
That's
so mind-blowing that I think we're all numb to it, and there's no more perspective to be had. It's crazy. I like what do we learn from this? Like what's the takeaway from a good chunk of our country thinking this guy's the way to go?
Man, I don't know. It's people, man. People love brands. They just love
Totally true.
brands, and he is a brand. And so everyone is on board because they want a guy who I was listening, I'm seeing more and more clips of his rallies, and he, for every 30 seconds of talking, he says nothing for 25 seconds. And then he'll say something like, and we got to get him the hell out of there. Or he's, we got to kick him in the ass. Like he'll actually say ass, and everyone's like, yeah. But in the meantime, he's like, and the thing, and it's very important. It's been a terrible, and I know about all these things. And so people just kind of tune out.
Yeah.
Until he delivers whatever that one half a sentence is.
The punchline or yeah.
And then they hear that, and that's what they digest, and it makes him sound like he's
his formula is like, there's a thing. A lot of people are talking about the thing. I know about the thing more than the people that are talking about it. You should be worried about the thing because the thing is unfair to you, but mostly the thing is unfair to me. But that's it. There's never like a
we got to get him there, and then there's always some exclamation at the end of it.
Yeah. And
you're not going to have a country unless you fight like hell, and then everyone goes wild. I don't know. It's just it's for people that can't. They just can't. I think about the old people in my life, that the oldest people in my life who can't follow conversations when we're having them. Like when we're together and we're having conversations, they can't keep up. They love Donald Trump because they can't. Yeah, well, just whatever. I mean, it's like very.
Yeah, I got.
Yeah, just you gotta repeat things, and they can't hear, and so they're missing things, and you can be talking about them in the room, and they won't understand. They won't know that, right?
Right.
Like if everyone else is laughing, they laugh.
Right. They're just kind of along for the ride.
Those people love Donald Trump. Those people love Donald Trump.
Well, of course, those people do, because they've got one person that's talking down to them and the other person that's giving it to them straight, and that's all they care about, right? And that's part of like the Democratic Party having lost its way, is that they got real high up on their high horse, and so much high-minded rhetoric, and it got too. I don't know. I can't find the words.
I'll be honest, though, real quick. Go ahead.
No. I want to hear what you have to say.
I don't even think it's that deep. I don't think it's people talking down to them. I think there's substance in the messages that are being delivered from one side, and then there's Donald Trump, who says nothing for every 25 of every 30 seconds, but then he says something like, "Yeah, these are bad people," and then that's what they follow, and they're like, "Oh, yeah."
Yeah. No
Yeah,
question.
kick him in the ass. That's what
You're
it
right.
is.
That's true. What I'm talking about, what I brought up is a separate issue. Democratic
Right.
Party, like losing touch with the American people is a separate thing. You're right. Like that. But I still think you're underestimating the man's appeal to college educated men and women our age.
Well, college educated. It's funny now because when he was elected president first, that was 8 years ago. So you have theoretically, you have people that were 10 years old who saw that happen. And look,
I
when
didn't
you're
think about that.
10, and you're in middle school and they can vote now, and you're in middle school and you see the biggest troll, you like that's all you are. You're just some fucking knucklehead
Internet
middle
troll.
schooler.
Yeah.
We all were. You hate everything, right? Especially if your parents loved something, you probably hated it, right? Like it's if they had one way of thinking, you wanted to rebel. And so
Yeah.
your parents may have been like, I hate him, he's a terrible guy. And all you see him is going online and going on stage and being a troll. You're like, yeah, this guy's awesome.
Yeah.
And now you can vote. And that's how, what do you change your mind? I'm sure that happened once or twice, but probably not the majority of the time.
Yeah, that's interesting. I wonder what Trump's popularity would have been in the halls of Fort Couch Middle School.
Hugely popular,
You're right.
hugely popular.
You're
And
right.
and that's embarrassing, but that's kind of how it is. I bet that's
No, it
true.
is how it is. It is how it is. Like look, when you act like a 10-year-old, I can understand why other 10-year-olds would relate. You know,
Yeah,
he's
you
talking to
just
them
make
at
fun
their
of people.
level.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does make fun of people. And you know what? He's funny. Like he's funny. And I think that's another thing that people underestimate about him. He's magic on television. Like he is pure lightning in a bottle every time. Dude's 78 years old. He's
Mm.
78 and he's out there campaigning with vigor, with vim and vigor. That's my JFK. Is not very good. And like bringing the fucking 98-mile-per-hour fastball every night. He's bringing the skeins. He's bringing them some skeins in every city. There's a lot to be said about going to one rally and it's like all fun and games, and going to the other rally. I don't know. I just think that I keep coming back to the Democrats having lost their way. Like they talk too much about Trump. They talk too much about shit that doesn't matter. It's like if you can't beat this guy, maybe it's time to reset the whole thing. Maybe let's get two new parties.
Well, I think that
The Democlins and the Republicans.
perfect. I like that. Did those test well? Your focus group.
They did.
I think they're not talking about him that much, frankly, because after that whole thing where he was at the National Black Journalists, whatever
They
it was.
pivoted since Biden was replaced.
Yeah,
But prior to that,
Kamala's like,
Yeah.
look, it's the same old stuff. I'm not going
right.
there. But
That's right.
so I think they're actually that's the funny thing is they're actually talking about what they want to do and what's important to them to vote for and what's on the ballot. You know, everything's on the ballot.
This is the most
And
important.
Donald Trump
election in
doesn't
the
talk
history
about
of the
any of
world.
that stuff. He just talks about how he hates the governor of Georgia
But
that all
isn't it
those people in the
interesting
room
that
voted
like
for.
you don't need to talk about those things to become the leader of this country?
Well, listen, man. We just covered all that. All you need to do is be able to be good on TV.
Yeah, but
and
like
talk
no
in a
one knew
way
that
that
until Trump.
sure.
And now we do. And now we
Yep.
do. And the most interesting thing you just said was about the 10-year-olds who are now voting age. I didn't even think about that. What it would have been like to be a kid watching Donald Trump, especially a kid who had everything that they needed, a comfortable kid, you know,
Mhm.
a kid who's free to just kind of be amused by the world around them and current events not taking, hitting close to home. Man, that is, and now that entire generation who already had a camera in their face at every turn, and their meritocracy was already defined by who can produce content, just had a front row seat during their most impressionable years to content driving politics.
Yeah.
It's so interesting, right? Like, where's that going to take us? Who knows? We'll see.
I was
Who
in
knows?
Wisconsin. I'm
That was
trying
a
to think
good
what
rant.
year
That
this
was like a
was.
Bill Maher rant that I just
Yeah,
gave you.
we did it. I think yeah. If I had the applause, let's just
Thanks, buddy.
I was in Wisconsin playing golf in, I guess it was 2019. So he was still president at the time. And we're in the airport in Milwaukee flying back to DC. And it was a Southwest flight that was just a shuttle back and forth from Milwaukee to Reagan.
Love those.
And so we're waiting for the plane to land. As soon as it lands, it was like a class trip. The I'm trying to think when this even was. It was like May, so school was still in session. It seemed like there was a class trip or multiple class trips on this plane to DC. Every kid on that airplane got off wearing Trump gear.
No kidding.
Like, and I was like, yeah. At that moment, I thought, oh, okay, I get it, because they were selling it, like all the street vendors and stuff in DC were selling whatever people wanted to buy, and they all had hats and shirts and shit. Like, and they just marched off this plane like the new recruits kind of thing.
So the interesting thing will be, is that sort of not childhood obsession, but they're looking at Trump the same way they look at Kobe, right? Like, this guy's on TV, he's the man, he puts people in their place, he wins. Is that going to translate to political allegiance when they're old enough to think for themselves?
That's where I think it diverges, but depending on the decisions you make. If you end up being the 19-year-old landscaper who lives with your grandma, yeah, that for sure is happening.
Yeah.
If you go to college,
socioeconomic
sort of factors. If you don't, let's put it this way, if you don't move out of your hometown, absolutely. If you move out of your hometown
to an interesting rule, yeah.
I think that's kind of how it is, right? I mean, no one stays in their hometown and changes the way they live their life. That
changes the way they thought when they were younger, or that their parents thought. Yeah, that's a really good point. It's a really good point.
So if you move to, some of those kids who maybe don't live in the city in Milwaukee, live about an hour outside of Milwaukee, we can kind of picture what that town looks like. Maybe they moved to Chicago, and maybe they changed their views a little bit.
Sure.
But I bet if they stayed anywhere, yeah, and just you're around people who think differently, so maybe that changes the way you think.
Yeah, or maybe like the act of getting outside of your comfort zone opens your mind to new ideas.
Yeah.
Whatever. I get your point. There are multiple nights where I'm reading the news in bed, and I'd say to Allison, like, this is just, like, I don't understand how she's not fascinated by every single thing that's happening. And not every single thing, but there's just so many of them. Like, there's so many. It's like such a complex machine that I don't know. I can't put it into words, but it is an endlessly fascinating process to watch people yearning for power, attempting to understand, like, willing to give these people or say to these people whatever they need to say, and just trying to figure out what it is. What's the magic combination of words that's going to get you to believe me instead of this other person? What about the optics, right? Like, the J.D. Vance vice presidential pick was the opposite of the Waltz pick. Let's be honest. And Trump is already going to fight. Like, I'm going to make a bet that he cans him. Did we talk about this last time?
Yeah, we did. And I agree with you. I think because he had already said, like, within a week of announcing him, he went to that. It was at the same thing, the panel that just went terribly for him. He's like, the vice president doesn't matter. Historically, the vice president.
Least important position.
Really, ever. It's like, dude, first of all, you're 78. There's a chance if you're president, it's not going to end with you being president.
This vice president does matter. We hear you, Mr. Trump, but this one does.
Yeah. And he can't, man, you haven't even seen him. I know they were trying to relaunch him, but man, it's not, he's going to fire him, and it's going to be hilarious. How do you think that goes down?
Yeah, like the firing process or the picking of a senator
Like,
replacement.
well, the messaging around it. Like, what do you think
Remember-
happens there?
From everything I've read about Donald Trump, he is not shy. In fact, I believe he relishes doing those things himself. So I think it's a call straight from Trump to Vance that says, look, the numbers. He'll blame the polls. We thought we had something, but the numbers just aren't there. You're fired.
Anyway, you can clean out your office, and I would expect that you would reimburse the campaign for your expenses while on the campaign trail, and I will appreciate your continued loyalty.
Have you ever heard someone say that Trump looks like he's playing a mini accordion?
Yeah, when he does this.
It's
I
a funny
I
way to
was saying
visualize it.
more about I agree that Trump will fire him, but there's now the issue of publicly acknowledging why.
Explaining to the
And you
people
can't-
why he fired JD Vance.
Yeah, right. After picking him specifically,
Polling.
right? It's
I'd
not
say,
like
I think he gets
wanna-
the same line.
do you think so? Because I think
He loves talking about it.
yeah, but man, that's damaging if you're like, he didn't do it. It's like, dude, you picked him. What are you talking about?
Oh,
You
I'm
picked
sorry.
the guy.
You're
the
right.
wrong-
This is going to be the moment where Trump takes complete accountability and says, look,
No,
guys,
no.
this one's on me. I was
Yeah,
wrong.
but
and I'm going to
here's what's
endeavor to be better.
No, I don't think that's what happens. I do think JD Vance says, I have an issue. I have to resign from being vice president. And they think that that'll go over, right? They'll be like, oh man, JD Vance all of a sudden didn't have the time to be vice president, or something happened.
Blame it on Ushka.
He's better served as the senator from Ohio. I don't know.
Yeah.
Something like that.
But even that rings pretty hollow. Like they would need to come up with something better than that. But
of course,
they're kind of boxed in.
There's no good answer here. You can't pick a vice president, try it for 3 weeks, and then be like, we're going to try somebody else. And then who's the next person going to be? Like, I
thought all along that he was going to go with Vivek. And like the only problem with Vivek, and like that's even more fascinating because Vivek is very smart, right? And I don't think Vivek has given much thought internally to what he cares about. I don't think there is an issue that Vivek feels passionately about. I think Vivek wants to be in control, right? And Vivek is smart enough to realize that the best way to get into power quickly is to endear yourself to this runaway political train. And he also knows that Trump is blinded. If the man has a glaring weakness that can be exploited, it's his love or susceptibility to flattery. And Vivek locked onto that early. And even though it is clear to all of us that he is just trying to get access to power, I don't think Trump can see that. I'm sure he has people around him telling that, but in his head and heart, Trump just thinks, no, he likes me. Like he just hears the compliments and he can't hear past them. So I wouldn't be surprised if it was Vivek. I know it's a dark horse, but that would be my theory.
Look, I don't know who it will be. The only thing I know is it definitely won't be a white guy. It's going to be funny because they're going to replace the white guy with someone who's not a white guy, and then Trump's going to be like, "Look what I did." We're just like them. He's got to reach somebody else. He can't just like. He's going to be like, "See, we could do that too. We have non-whites here in the Republican Party as well." I don't know.
Watch this back later. That was hilarious. You go, look what I did. Perfect. Look, it's woman. Look,
that's the kind of thing that is so funny. It's like it's so predictable how all this is going to go. We're calling that he's going to fire JD Vance. It may not happen for another few weeks.
Yeah, but that's
But
only
the
because
pro-
we know his code. I don't think there's anything predictable about Donald Trump or his campaign.
I do, man, and I think he's gonna pick someone else, and I think it's not gonna be a white guy. Like, let's run this one back in
I
a month.
disagree. I don't think he sees it that way, and he has far too much influence over the decisions made in his camp. Right? This was
Yeah,
actually, I would be willing to bet that he listened to advice on JD Vance because JD Vance was an outspoken critic of him. And Trump, that just doesn't fly with him. It's like the what's it called? Mortal sin that you can, even though he ended up switching his public tenor and
allegiance.
allegiance and then supporting Trump, which I'm sure Trump liked. I just can't imagine that this was Trump himself, the man's choice. I think there
Well,
was
yeah,
someone he
right.
wanted, and that's who they're going to go with because now he's got an "I told you so" on his dumbass campaign managers.
I don't know, man. I think he loves people telling them that they love him, regardless of whatever they said in the past.
Yeah,
I
I
really
agree with
do.
that, but I don't know if so. That could be the way Trump ousts him. He was not
What
loyal.
it was just brought to his attention that you know, the first time he actually ran for president, JD Vance said how much he hated him.
No, here's what he'll say. He'll say, I agreed to JD Vance by the on the advice of my advisors. I fought
Yeah.
against it because JD Vance was an outspoken critic of me, or however Trump would say that. It won't sound that nice. And I should have trusted my gut, and I'm trusting my gut now. Like that's the playbook I think he goes with.
And
If
I'm
you think
going
about it,
with
it's a very Trump
Omarosa.
message. Yeah.
Omarosa, the new vice president. Yeah, he's definitely going to throw somebody under the
Omarosa.
bus if he doesn't go. Even if JD Vance bows out, it's like you said, it's going to ring so hollow that Donald Trump is going to have to at some point make everyone
Yeah,
understand that it was his decision to
that's
do
right.
this, and then he will trash JD Vance, and JD Vance then won't get elected as senator like next time he's up for election because Trump hates him and everyone. Now I don't know, man. I just see all the
Who are the
playing.
non-white man candidates for vice president? Oh, Vivek. Is that what you mean?
Tim
And Nikki
Scott,
Haley? Tim
Nikki
Scott.
Haley, Tim Scott.
Yeah, actually, what am I talking about? There's a lot of good ones. I mean, Tim Scott should have been his pick all along, really. It's the safest choice.
Well,
I
there you
wonder
go.
what they were trying to go for with JD Vance. Maybe were they trying to like cauterize the Rust Belt and the Bible Belt after the shooting? Like what were they thinking? This guy's he's a donut.
Was that an app? Was that after the shooting? It was right
Right
around that
after.
time. Okay.
It was right after.
I don't think
Which
Trump
was why
needed
it
to
was such a
do
big moment,
anything.
and then it landed
Yeah.
like a wet fart.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I mean, he's from Ohio, right? That's not much of a battleground state, but maybe I just
They
he
need
was
it
the
for the
most.
presidency.
Yeah, but they're gonna get it.
They're probably
Ohio
gonna
is
get
more
it.
like Kansas than it is Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
I
that's
feel.
true. Well said. Ohio is more like Kansas than
It's ranked,
Pennsylvania. Hold on. I
the
gotta put that
state.
on banner. Just for
But
memory.
yeah, I think I don't know why he picked him, but he's definitely, I agree with you. And that's going to be a funny news cycle
Yeah.
whenever he tries to explain that. It's just, I
Does
love the
Sarah
fact that
get upset with you?
he's trying to goad Biden to get back in the race just so he can debate him again.
The whole thing is like very UFC. Well, no, not UFC, WWF. I'm still calling it WWF. Fuck that. I don't care about the when in the history of the world did we ever think that if the World Wrestling Federation goes up against the World Wildlife Foundation, the Wildlife Foundation would win? What an injustice. Trump has got like great theatrical instincts, right? And the whole thing is like a WWE. And if you look at the people who watch WWF, it's like a lot of Rust Belt and Bible Belt. That's where it's popular. And I think
Yep.
there's no coincidence that, he's playing from that playbook. But at the same time, going back to what I said earlier, there are a lot in fact, in 2016, college educated white men block voted for Donald Trump. White people block voted for Donald Trump kind of like a minority, like how minorities typically vote together. It doesn't make any sense. And do you know that he gained ground in the second election? It's just there were more votes total, obviously. Well, not obviously. There were more votes total, and he gained ground in like almost every measurable way. But Biden performed a little bit better.
Yeah. That's why I don't think that, 2016 was an anomaly.
But
and then
that
he was actually
doesn't mean that the college educated people our age stopped voting for him. In fact, more of them may have voted for him.
Yeah, maybe.
So explain that one to me, Professor Politic.
No, well, what the turnout was in 2020 was the highest ever, I think, right?
Yeah.
At like 40%, which is insane to think about.
People got things to do. Something comes up.
Yeah, look, it's raining, a little drizzly outside.
Do you really
I didn't bring
think
my
that's crazy? Do you think it's crazy that more people don't understand the power of their vote? Because it's not that easy of a concept to get your head around.
I would bet that this election will be even higher than the last one.
Higher.
I bet we get to turnout total.
Yeah, man, because it's great TV. And this always comes back to content, right? Could you imagine how bored out of our minds we'd be with a Bush Bush Kerry or McCain Obama? Obama was exciting again. McCain, that's a bad example. That was like
Obama Romney was less exciting.
Obama Romney was like, because we were coming off of the 2008 election and we wanted that magic again, or 2016 what the fuck year was Obama elected? 2008. Yeah. And we wanted that magic again, but Obama was tired because you had to be president for 4 years. McCain or Romney was like, I like Mitt Romney, but he's, not a real exciting guy. And
it was business as usual.
I'm trying to think of like where this trajectory is taking us, right? So you get Obama, lightning in a bottle, excitement, huge turnout, big excitement, momentum for the country. Then you get some boring elections, lesser turnout, less excitement, and then Donald Trump comes along and just throws the whole thing on its head. What I'm just fascinated by what you said about the 10-year-old who's now, I guess, we don't kids. So like thinking about, I've lost that perspective of there's a whole generation watching all of this. I don't know what they're going to learn from it. Like, I don't know what there is to learn from it.
Here's what they're going to learn. They're definitely not going to vote.
Yeah.
The voter turnout amongst young voters is always so little that it would be, I don't expect that turnout to be great. Talk about waiting in line at your rural polling place. Some 19-year-olds definitely going to look at that line and be like, my vote doesn't matter. It's only one vote. That happens 20,000 times.
Real quick, as an aside, there's this thing every year called the Forbes Cloud 100, which is a big deal in my line of work because it's Forbes' annual ranking of the top 100 SaaS software as a service companies, usually startups, right? So do you want to guess who's number one this year?
Miro.
I'm taking you like way off topic here. So I'm instead of putting you OpenAI. OpenAI is number one, right? And you can, just as a way to illustrate what this list is.
Yeah.
And last year, Miro was number 10 and Navan was number 11. And I was bummed because I went down a spot. And the new 2024 list just came out and Navan is 10 and Miro is 11.
Oh,
a lot of shit talking to my
yeah.
yeah.
Did it say because Josh Selkovitz left one and went to the other?
That was the reason. Yeah. I think like OpenAI, Databricks, and Stripe are going to be the top 3 of that list for the foreseeable future because no tech company wants to IPO and they're so much bigger than everybody else. The valuation of OpenAI is $86 billion. And that's probably a little low.
Maybe.
For a research company. Anyway, back to politics. You haven't answered my question on why college-educated white men and women are voting for Trump.
No, they might. I mean, I don't know.
No, they
I'm
are.
not saying they. I'm not. Okay, cool. I think it's different. I think there is a.
You were saying earlier that like it's the simplicity of the message. It's the people who just go along with everything. I guess those are college-educated people as well, but you don't think there's any intellectually savvy people that just think that Donald Trump is actually the best choice for the country?
Oh, I definitely think that. I mean, go to any country club anywhere in the world, and you'll probably find a lot of people who love Donald Trump, right? And they may have great jobs. Yeah, and they may just I think there's something to that, or they're just Republicans and they don't really care. But I do think that
what does that mean?
They don't care who the candidate is. They just want Republican policies. They're not worried about like the social aspect of the Republican, message.
Yeah,
they're worried about
not
the financial
voting.
part of it.
They're just voting party lines.
They want fewer taxes, and that's always going to be people who, run as a Republican.
You ever see that episode of Always Sunny where Dennis is talking to his sister about like the problem with the homelessness or something? And Dennis is like, they found out that they closed down an insane asylum. And he was like, you can't be closing down an insane asylum. These people are going to be back on the streets. And then his sister was like, well, then, so they're going to have to raise taxes to be able to pay for it. And he's like, you can't raise taxes. We're already paying so much in taxes. And she's like, well, then these people are going to be on the street. And he's like, they can't be on the street. And it just keeps going back and forth like that. Like that's the whole thing of politics. But it's just funny to see someone like reacting like that to each part of the story. Like we're always stuck between 2 really, really bad options.
Yep. I think that first of all, we've done now 45 minutes of we now have a politics podcast.
Yeah. Well, it's a good conversation.
I like it. It's news, right? We always let's talk about current events.
I think we should.
I gotta add this one.
We should do make a decision logo.
A decision logo.
Yeah, the hot stove is starting to heat up about Miro's IPO around the office. Actually, I probably shouldn't be saying that on a stream. Good thing no one watches. But
we do have one viewer right now.
The rumor mill. It was in the press too, so this is nothing secret. The rumor mill's starting, and our CEO just keeps saying that publicly that like it's we'll do it when we're ready, but I kind of want him to wait so I have a little bit more skin in the game.
You still got
That's
some
the whole thing of politics. No, I'm talking about did I say Miro? I meant my current company. Miro, I don't think it's gonna. I mean, it's probably gonna happen, and it will be very underwhelming. Maybe there'll still be something there for me, but we'll see. Probably not. It'll probably happen. It just won't be great. So, what are you doing? You're responding to emails? We've got a viewer.
No.
Hey, viewer, why don't you join the chat and tell us who you're voting for this November? No, that's not right. Who should be Donald Trump's vice president? Who should tell JD Vance he's fired? Who should tell Kim Jong-un? Who should explain to Kim Jong-un why the North Koreans aren't winning more Olympic medals?
Oh, dude, have you been using this is so funny.
Where did you just go?
This is what I was doing.
Oh.
Tony Trump.
Oh, Tony. So you don't know me. Tony and I used to work together at AWS. He's a Trump guy. Doesn't surprise me whatsoever. But Tony has a perspective on the world that will really, it would always blow my mind. He's a mind blower. He would always say things like deep, deep thoughts that would like really tickle me to my core or make me think in a way that I hadn't before. It's a good man, that Tony Kuoha. Hope all is well, Tony. What are you driving these days? You got something good in the driveway? He's gone. What do we got?
So I asked Google Gemini to create a logo for a podcast called The Rich and Josh Show that focuses on politics, because that's what we are now. This is what it came up with: The Rich and Show.
The Rich and Show. I got cut out of it.
Rich and Josh. Rich 8.
Rich B. So. Rich, is that? I like Rich B. So better. So Gemini. Oh, it's still the 911. Very nice. Gemini does images, like image creation.
Yeah. I had to create a logo for the local pedestrian.
Type in Taylor Swift, but as a guy.
It won't do pictures of people, of actual people.
Okay, that's a bummer.
But the Rich and Show. Let's see if we can.
Yeah, tune this up a little bit. Tell Gemini that, you know. Hey, what do you think about that Google antitrust or not, or monopolist?
Has lots of flags.
Yeah, let's up the patriotism to like 125%. Okay, now that's too old timey. Tell it to make it more aggressively, you don't like this one? Patriotic. Looks like
the Rich and Josh. I just like how it misspells it all the time. The Rich and Josh. You don't like that one?
Avoidable.
I like this font.
That's nice, Tony. Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, Tony.
That is nice. That's a very nice thing to say here. I want to put that comment on the. That's really sweet. Good observations. Okay, now can we ratchet up the patriotism so that people actually will like this?
Really how do I spell patriotic? Patriotic?
Yes. Yeah, I think you got it.
Man, I'm just not a good speller. I play that spelling bee game on New York Times.
Yeah, I play it every day.
I sometimes cannot. I have a word in mind and I can't figure out how to get it in there.
Okay,
this is pretty. There. Look at that. That's
like. By the way, that is shocking to me that you're a bad speller.
That's one thing I'm never good at.
But your brain is so mechanical.
Yeah, not that.
Like you're
not
so good at like putting. I don't know. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. All right.
I'm actually a fantastic speller. Ask me to spell a word. Go ahead. Go ahead. Any word.
Any word, huh?
Yeah. Ask me any word.
Hands up.
And I'll spell it for you.
Hands up. Spell
not so easy just to name a word. What
spell patriotism?
Ooh, patriotism. PATRIOTISM.
There you go.
I put my hands down. All right, now tell it to make it
insanely patriotic.
Yeah, like even more patriotic.
Sure. Yeah. Two bald eagles.
I mean, I kind of love that, man, and they didn't misspell anything that time.
Podcast is not.
That's okay. People get it. Save that one.
Cat.
Save that one. A couple of eagles. A couple of eagles screeching through the internet.
Let's see. They're all kind of the same though. I want like what symbol should we have on there that's got a lot of flags? And what else? Flags are overdone, man. What else can we show that would show our patriotism?
Guns.
Nah, I
Maybe
don't
we
want
want to stay away
guns.
from guns. How about like fireworks?
Well, I'll tell you what. Why don't we just let Google Gemini to figure it out?
This is why
Let's
it's
see
there.
here. Let's start over. Make a logo for, you know what, man, every time I use one of
Let's
these
start
open
over.
AIs, I feel bad when I don't say please first. I need like, can I like please make a logo? I just can't boss it around. And I say
think
thank
there's
you.
been-
I say thank you to the AI.
As you should. There's been so many science fiction stories about the robots. You know, we all know where this is going to end. So I think it would serve us all well if you were polite to the robot for now. I'm going to do the same.
Just want, yeah,
Let's
maybe
both make a pact.
it will show us some mercy because we were kind to it when asking it to do meaningless things.
Yeah.
The Rich and Josh show. The Rich and Josh show that is insanely patriotic, but doesn't use American flags.
Next, can we ask them to visualize someone explaining to Kim Jong-un why North Koreans didn't win more Olympic medals?
Maybe we'll just ask it why. See what they say. Oh, it's thinking for a long time on this one. It's going to be great.
Okay, definitely used American flags. I think we were on the right track before, and I'm a little bit upset that we abandoned that other logo. I think we were really building something. Well, I like that one. Wait, any misspelling?
No, the Rich
Why
Josh
does it look
show.
like one of us is mounting the other one?
It does. It really does.
It looks like one of us is doing some kind of animalistic dominance ritual. To assert when the bald eagle asserts dominance, he hoists his wings over the other eagle's shoulder.
The Josh's show. Nice.
I like that.
That's just,
let's cut that.
These are, how many times? I bet it has created this exact image a million times already for other people who actually wanted a logo that.
It's a weird
like
theory.
That. Man, we gotta. I don't know how else should we prompt this thing. I'm not loving these.
Yeah, no, I'm not loving them either. Let's talk about who we want it to appeal to, right? Make a logo for the Rich and Josh Show podcast that appeals to people who, drink Busch Light.
I'll be honest, man. I fucking hate our flag. I was watching the opening ceremonies and I'm like, all these flags are better. Every single one of them.
What do you mean?
Better colors. I don't like our flag. I like other countries' flags more than ours. Except for like maybe all the European tri-stripe, 3-color, that's it flags, right? Whether they're like the Netherlands and France.
This is such an important conversation. The American flag is good. I kind of like the way the American flag is depicted in a pictogram. More than like I actually like the sewn together silks and nylons of a flag, of like a physical flag. As a perfect rectangle, I like the American flag.
Olympic Games. Let's just take a look here.
Yeah, something like this. Like when the American flag, see, like the USA looks cool down there in the bottom right-hand corner.
I guess when you're like this, it's okay.
I mean, nothing like
it's busy. It's busy.
Uruguay is awesome. Switzerland is amazing. Switzerland might be the best flag on here.
Oh, wait, here. I can just do this. How do I zoom in
I
again?
love
I don't have the
Switzerland. I love Sweden. It's
yeah.
okay. I
I'll
can
tell
see
you
it.
what. So Switzerland actually, it's not a rectangle; it's a square, which makes it even cooler. I think
Really?
there is a way. Yeah, you using the rectangle for a flag is not. That we could have done something different.
Look, I hope I'm not going to upset any viewers with this, but I have a nomination for stupid flag.
I I think we've upset Tony already.
Why did he make another comment?
Yeah, sorry,
Elephant on
Tony.
the flag.
It's nothing personal.
Our flag is superior because it tells a story. I actually agree with him.
Sure, I get it. Sorry, we keep doing
Okay.
that. There we go. I get it. I understand. I'm just saying from a color perspective,
Red, white, and
more of an
blue? Look how many
yeah,
flags use red, white, and blue. Like
Iceland,
70% of them. Okay,
Guyana.
so do you want to
There's
hear my
there's a couple.
nominee for stupidest flag? Do you have a nominee for
Democratic
stupidest flag?
Republic of the Congo. Look at that color. I like those colors better. They pop.
The
I feel
People's
like we use the
Democratic
same
Republic
colors
of
as the
Congo
UK.
has
We
like
use the same
3
colors as
lies in 5 words.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's very much yeah. It's none of those things.
Yeah. Is neither
But
for
like
the
yeah,
people, no
France not
Democratic
into it.
nor Republic.
I just think
France?
all these countries that first did flags use the same colors in
Dude, I
different
can't
formats.
believe I'm disagreeing with you on so many of these. Like, I would have thought we see eye to eye on this. Look at Nepal just
Marshall
saying,
Island.
look at Nepal saying, fuck you guys. We'll make the flag whatever shape we want. Bottom left-hand quadrant.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Like Netherlands boring, but it's red, white, and blue. France, red, white, and blue. Ours red, white, and blue. UK's
Dude,
red, white, and blue.
France's flag is amazing. It looks so good. Think of it like sewn
Amazing.
onto a jacket at the Olympics, the Winter Olympics.
It's a great looking patch, but
Yeah,
it's
it's great looking
bolder. I
patch.
feel like that's the thing. Whenever you can see it from a distance and know exactly what it is.
All right. Do you want to hear my nominee for stupidest? And do you have one? Because I think it's a no-brainer.
Stupidest.
I'd also love to hear Tony weigh in on the stupidest flag. Like a
All right,
flag
go
that
ahead.
tried to accomplish something, but just it didn't land.
Go ahead.
It's Canada.
I do not agree. I do not agree with you.
We're miles apart here, Rich.
Why do you okay, tell me why you think Canada has this stupid flag.
Because first of all, I'm looking
Mhm.
out my window and I see like 50 maple trees. Okay. So it's not just maple trees in Canada. I don't even know if they have more of them than the average country. Second of all, it was a bold choice to go with the maple leaf, and I'm not that impressed with it. Second of all, 2 colors, red and white. If you're going to do red and white, do it like Sweden or Switzerland, right? Red in the back, white. I just don't love it. See, Tony's with you on this one.
I like the Canadian flag. I like that it's a symbol of what happened, like what exists in their country. I mean that's a like the biggest one, right? Like there's some crests and stuff like on Egypt, El Salvador, Equatorial Guinea, but that's that's a maple leaf. That's what the
you know
flag
what
is.
some really cool flags are? Maritime signal flags.
Yeah,
Those are cool.
they're all shaped like Nepal too.
Are they?
Here. Let me show you a flag that I like.
Yeah, show me a
I'm just
flag
gonna
you
look.
like.
Uruguay is a pretty flag. Where's that one? Yeah,
You sew it under a red jacket, it's fire for Canada?
I like the flags, and ours does it a little bit, but I like the flags that use white in the negative space a lot.
Agreed. Argentina is the same. Yep. Argentina, Uruguay,
Austria.
see, I don't like
Again,
Austria's
that's
flag.
just it's just triple. It's Canada rotated 90 degrees and no maple leaf.
Yeah. Lazy.
It's
Very
funny when
lazy.
France plays the Netherlands in soccer, and it's like, and they tie.
Wait, where's the Netherlands? Move your
Where
mouse
is
over it.
I'm looking for it. There it is.
Oh,
So it's the
okay.
same flag, but it's just
Yeah.
rotated 90 degrees. And
Wait,
it's when they
aren't
play each other in
there
soccer, it's like they're playing for the best justification of red, white, and blue lines.
what about like the Italy, Mexico, Niger that all have basically the same flag? Where's Mexico? Is this in alphabetical order? Yeah, it is.
This is Mexico here.
Yeah, so look at that, then look at Italy up here, top right.
Yeah.
Like,
And Ireland's similar.
yeah,
Just it's
yeah.
Ireland's like the contrast was open on the camera a little
I
bit.
wish these had a date of establishment on them so I know
Right.
who copied off of who. And a lot of times it was like, the Union Jack obviously is everywhere because of the British Empire, which I think is cool. It's like we're going to give them their own flag. Tony's into maritime flags, my man. Any of the flags with a large black bar, Germany, Belgium, has a retro vibe to them. I totally agree. Germany's flag
Agreed.
is really cool.
Yes.
Really cool.
Agreed.
Belgium's
Love it.
also cool, even though it's, what we're talking about.
A three-color flag where black is a third of the flag looks good. Jamaica, it's a little bit different, but Belgium and Germany totally.
I like Jamaica's flag. I think Jamaica has a great
I do
flag.
too.
And Brazil as well with the green.
Macedonia might be the best flag.
All right, where's Macedonia?
I'm moving my mouse over it.
Ooh. So what was the rising sun flag? Was that Japan's old flag when it was the
I think that
Empire
was
of Japan?
Japan's. Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool.
They don't use that one anymore.
Like, no, they don't. But like the Japanese art of that time, you know what I mean? With like the big rays coming out of the deer leader's head or something.
The deer leader, yeah.
Macedonia,
Even Albania
by far, is the best. Where's Macedonia? We were just looking at that one, right? Yeah, Macedonia is very cool.
I like that flag.
I would say that like there's some unexpectedly great flags from countries that don't contribute a ton to the world. Like Kazakhstan is great. I'm not
Marshall
gonna lie,
Islands.
I don't know if this is popular for a Jew to say, but where was it?
You're like at Palestine.
Yeah, it's not on there. Pakistan's is cool.
It is on there right here.
Yeah, that's cool. It's a good looking flag.
I don't love it.
But Israel's flag is undefeated. I love Israel's flag. Always have. I love the blue and the white. I love the Star of David. I think it's such a strong, and like it, maybe just because of what it represents, but I like it when the country is bold with their flag and less copycat. Yeah, when they put their foot in the ground and make a decision. Like Papua New Guinea is a really cool flag in the bottom right quadrant.
There's a lot going on there, but I kind of agree. It's good. Don't love it, but it's fine.
Laos is cool. Navy or a robin's egg blue and a yellow off-centered sun.
That's what I'm talking about. I think the color. I don't love that ours is red, white, and blue like all the other countries that are red, white, and blue. That we're all kind of related.
Is pretty unique. And Tony's right, it does tell the story. 13 colonies, the 50 states.
But I get it. But there's also a lot of flags that have that sort of thing, right? Stripes, top left corner, something else.
Look at Tony's comment. Low popularity countries only get so much air coverage. They have to, they've got to come with a good flag design, or else they're going to be forgotten.
The PR departments are really important in the low rent countries.
Israeli flag, yeah, it is. It is incredibly symbolic, and it shows strength. Like Nicaragua, boring. Nigeria, boring. I tell you what, NK goes hard in the paint. We already know that our boy Kim brings it. Should we play the song in honor of North Korea's Olympic efforts?
Yeah, go ahead and play it.
Let's play this.
Are there any countries on this list that you did not?
Got this in our G drive, right? That's how I played it last time. Remember, I had trouble playing the song. Oh, I think it's in. Rich, can you access our shared drive and play it?
Maybe. Let me see.
Oh, wait, no. I think I've got it. I've got it.
Okay.
All right.
I should just upload it to this.
I need to share my screen.
Go ahead. That'll be a good segue into the segment.
So for our viewers at home, I'm about to play a song called Kim Jong Universal that that just hit me like a lightning bolt of inspiration one day. You hear it?
1993. My dad died, bitch. Bad day for you, good day for me. 'Cause I'm in charge, bitch. I'm taking over daddy's business. And business is good. Holding down my people and stealing their food. I am the man. But these bitches be starving. While I'm well fed, they still be starving. What's next, huh? Kim's gonna swag out. Kim's gonna swag out. Kim's gonna swag out. Kim's gonna swag out.
Go North Korea.
Kim's gonna swag out. Kim's gonna swag out.
Several Olympic
Kim's gonna
medals.
swag out. Chapter 2, bitch. You sanctions. Trying to take my nukes, bitch. Well, they can't have them, they're mine. They're mine, they're always mine. I'm gonna launch them in the stratosphere time to time, just to test. Get off Kim's nuts, I'm gonna shit. The only thing that flows up is in the ocean. Who gives a fuck about the ocean? I'm more focused on rockets and ball. Sidestepping sanctions like I'm shopping at the mall. I dress fresh. All gray smock, one color, all gray smock, it looks good. I'm fat as fuck. My people starve, but I'm fat as fuck. And that's my story, dog. Kim's gonna swag out. Kim's gonna swag out.
That was great.
I like the chorus. Kim's gonna swag out.
You know, I want you to know that wasn't repeated. That was me saying it over and over
Live.
again, as if live, as if it was repeated. 1993.
That song, the beginning of that song is so good.
Yeah. My
It's
dad
hard
died,
to keep
bitch.
up that moment. Yeah, right. The shock value of the beginning of
Yeah.
that song is so great.
Bad day.
So what's
for
up
you,
with the?
good day for
By the
me.
way, sick NASA shirt.
Thanks,
Get
bro.
that at Cape Canaveral gift shop.
See what it's got on the sleeve here?
Yeah, I do.
Swaggiest flag known to man.
It looks at all. The flag always looks weird when it's on the other shoulder because it's always stars forward. It looks like it's backwards. Do you know that?
When it's on this shoulder?
The other shoulder.
If it was
It's
on this shoulder.
reversed.
Maybe
If
that's
that
why it's
patch was
this.
on, yeah, but on military uniforms, they have it on either one, that just the right shoulder or both, and it always looks backwards to me.
Right.
In any case, anyway, look, I'm just saying they don't have that problem in Micronesia, right, with their flag.
No, they don't. Palau does, because the sun is slightly off center. They're gonna need the
That's
proper
true. They gotta
justification.
they gotta change it up. All right, let's do this King Jong thing.
Yeah. So, are you going to do an accent?
No, I'm not going to do an accent. This is just
Okay.
me and you, as me and you, having a meeting. So let's set this up.
All right.
I'm gonna do a banner. Are you gonna do an accent?
Well, it's a valid question. I was thinking about it all night.
Man, and I want to call it Kim's Counsel with 2Ks, but that anytime you put 2Ks, you're like, what are you doing? You're only 1K away from making it.
You just think
Not
any
good.
consecutive Ks
Yeah.
are problematic?
Yes. If you see 2 in a row, you think 3 in a row. So we got to come up with the branding. So maybe I'll just leave that off for a second. We got to call this something.
What's the no, it's you can have 2 consecutive Ks. It's not a hateful thing to do.
Not why they. Why North Korea?
See, this is
Dangling
you got a problem
modifier.
with this, bro? Kim Kardashian?
What's her middle
Kris
name?
Kardashian? Kourtney Kardashian? Khloe Kardashian? I've never played Animal Crossing, Tony, to be honest. Have you played Animal Crossing, Rich?
I have not, no. That game was pandemic vibes. A lot of people bought Switches just to play Animal Crossing.
Yeah. That was a pandemic game. I bought a Switch just to play Zelda.
Rich and Josh explained to Kim Jong-un why North Korea didn't win more medals at the Summer Olympics.
Yeah, so like what's the angle, right? Like
just start. Let's just go.
No, I think that's the humorous part of the conversation.
No, we'll take it. We'll figure it out. Yes, we can.
All right,
do it.
Right.
Go.
All
you go
right,
for it.
All
and
right.
now we're both explaining to him.
Right.
Go.
And that's right. Yeah. So like the idea is that neither one of us wanted to be the one to deliver this news. And we argued over who had to do it. And it turned out we had to agree to go in together.
I'm waiting.
You see, dear Supreme Leader, it's not that our country isn't dominant. We are. There were some, I don't want to call them complaints, but there were some comments from the Olympic Village about the abundance of food. And some of the athletes were disoriented and they had never seen that much food before. And I think that might have been a distraction because of the imperialist powers shoving their excess in our face. I think Rich had something that he wanted to add.
Well, look, I did, and I wanted to start by saying, yeah, good morning, Supreme Leader. I hope your slumber last night was restful. I know you're a busy man. Appreciate your time. What I think what Josh was trying to say is that when we accepted the joint position of Olympic czar, as you call it, I think what we did is we kind of divided up the sports, and we never made it formal, but he and I spoke about this, and I figured I'd take all the sports, the racket sports, and then Josh would take every other sport because that about divides it equally. So I'm happy to say that badminton, we always had a historically strong showing, and we did again.
But I do remember that I was also involved in a lot of those racket sport conversations. I was at those meetings. I was offering feedback.
That's right. Josh did call in through Voom, the North Korean version of Zoom, to our meetings a couple times. As a matter of fact, it was, they were basically just landline phone calls because that's kind of what we're working with here in Pyongyang. Anyway, I think the other thing here is you're upset that we didn't win more medals. I'll tell you what, it was probably, swimming, for example. They give out a lot of medals at swimming.
Tons. In
this country. Unfortunately, it is baked into our national code of conduct that no one is allowed to learn how to swim. Right. And so I think that's a hurdle we have to maybe reconsider for the 2028 Olympics in the terrible world that would be Los Angeles. Whether we want to go there or not is a separate.
Into the heart of the imperialist lion's den. Now,
Sure.
just to piggyback off Rich is saying, we're not suggesting that we should have a population of swimmers who, let's be honest, we don't want anyone swimming away. So what we were thinking is we'd build a moat of fire, maybe some crocodiles, alligators that we sort of station strategically along our coastlines. And that way people won't be encouraged to spend all of their recreation time swimming. Right? That's important.
And I'll tell you what. Here's what we do. On the other side of the moat, we put people from the National Guard, Imperialism Guard, and anyone who makes it, the swimmer makes it past that moat of crocodiles and fire, they're on the Olympic team. Those are good swimmers, right? Those are
so
the
now
people
we're solving two problems. We're solving two problems. So we get the moat, and I don't want to put too fine of a point on the food, but last month we increased the budget for missiles and retrofitted your bulletproof train with Wi-Fi. Perhaps if we had given the athletes a little bit more food during their training, that could have been good for us. It could have been.
And I think we had all agreed that the rations for each athlete was going to be 1 wheat block per day, which, as we all know, one block of wheat, pressed wheat, as people get here while they're training. But in hindsight, they had these things. You won't believe this. They had these things in the food halls where you put a batter, which is some sort of it's like a thick sauce, as we would call it here, maybe, and you press it and it bakes it and turns into a little thing called a waffle. And the kids, they just loved them, and we couldn't get them to stop eating them. But it turns out it's not the best thing to have right before you do the sports that we were competing in, like speed climbing. That's just really tough.
I think number one, we should add the continental breakfast to our official list of enemies of the state, because the continental breakfast is, I think, really what's to blame here is the continental breakfast, right? Our people just weren't prepared for it. I take back what I said about the bulletproof train. I actually think we need to invest more in that. I think we need to make it more bulletproof, faster, and more comfortable for you, right?
One other thing, if we're going to talk about improving the trains, maybe it's time, and just hear me out, maybe it's time we get an airplane in this country. I know that you like traveling by train. I will say that will be a significant hurdle to making it to the Los Angeles games. And if we had an airplane in this country, I'm not saying we have to have two, but maybe just one. You can use it most of the time.
Yeah, it'll be yours most. And you will have your picture on it. And, we're going to put those flight attendants you like. We know which ones. Don't worry, Supreme Dear Leader. We know the sun rises with your smile, and we would never stop that.
One thing I will say is I think it was a mistake for us to devote a lot of our training resources to the modern pentathlon this year. I think we maybe miscalculated a little bit on the events we have a realistic chance of medaling in. Modern pentathlon is tough. You're riding horses, you're shooting, you're running. I will say that we didn't realize that you need to bring your own horses to the Olympics. Right. That's on us. Josh and I thought maybe we could just
for food.
We had other uses for our horses. They had to, that's a big way that people get around this country.
They had to pull the plows, of course,
plow the fields. So we didn't take any, and we thought the Olympics had some for us to use. The Olympic horses, turns out that's not the case.
On the other hand, what Rich is failing to bring up is that perhaps we should take a harder look at team sports, because what I'm noticing is that you need 11 people on the field to play soccer, right? It's a lot of mouths to feed, if you know what I mean. It's a lot of people. Maybe if we just zero in on the individual sports where we need less healthy, able-bodied people, perhaps we could have some type of a tournament within North Korea, and the survivor becomes our lone Olympic contestant. Maybe something like a fight to the death.
I think that's a great way to select, the beach volleyball team, for example. I think that's a sport where we can really whittle down to the best of the best. And let's get people to, look, we have I'm not going to sugarcoat it. We got a little bit of a PR issue here in North Korea. What's a better way than to have our beach volleyball team go to the next Olympics and win some medal?
Dressed appropriately, of course. We'll have the women covered up. We can't be doing that. There's when you look at the medals in proportion to the percentage of the population that has electricity, we actually performed incredibly well. Most other countries, relative to the amount of electricity, they did not get as many medals as we did. I don't think any country got as many medals as we did in that category. So
that's right. So it's all about framing and perspective here. I think
how you look at it.
Total success. We didn't do so well in men's field hockey.
Too many people
didn't understand. Yeah, a lot of people, and also we didn't know that was a sport. So we did not actually have
also,
a
we
team
don't have
there.
many
I know
fields.
No fields or balls.
Yeah.
We kind of take those things away from everyone. We want to break the spirit, and the last thing we need is a vehicle for enjoyment. Is really that's what we call them.
We can all agree
balls.
on that. We do not need our people enjoying themselves. That is crazy. Enjoyment leads to one thing. Next thing you know, we're a capitalist, imperialist power, and we've become everything we hate. We can't let that happen. I think that we need to stay very focused on that. We cannot let that happen.
And to be honest, it's really, again, it's some sort of we just don't want to have to worry about having to rebrand the country, because branding's expensive.
It's very expensive.
And look, we have our budget. We have budget constraints. We've been spending a lot on the electricity to the Imperial Palace, and so that takes up probably 80% of our budget. And
and
candles.
Honestly, chartering a private jet to get you KFC every night has gotten pricey. We know it's your favorite. We know you love it, but we could open one here, maybe. Save a little bit on fuel costs. Like the world's most expensive DoorDash. A good percentage of this country's GDP is going to importing fast food for you, Kim. And honestly, I think the people are starting to see it, because they're all getting thinner and you're not. You're getting wider. And we can only hide that for so long before we literally have to kill everyone. That's kind of where
you start eating. You're going to start eating the people. They'll start eating themselves, and then you'll have to start eating them, and then it's just going to be it's an unsustainable populace strategy. So
flywheel. It's a flywheel. It feeds itself.
Take a fly. We got to get you some flywheel classes. I think that's what we'll do. We'll get you a Peloton. If that's okay with you. Yeah, all right.
Here, I think I can actually solve two problems. What if I told you that I had a way to bring us a cycling gold medal and electricity at the same time? Is that something you might be interested in? We get one of our re-education camps, and we fit them with bicycles. Now, these folks, they love this country. That's one thing we know. They love this country. They will work for it tirelessly. Let's get them on those bikes. They're generating electricity. By the next Olympics, you got 10 new Neil Armstrongs.
North Korean kilowatt. That's what they're going to call it.
I like that.
They're going to just, yeah.
You know, that was actually my idea. I said that to Rich before we came in here. So I think he's just repeating what I had said.
He did. He did say that right after he mentioned that he wasn't that excited about having this conversation with you. I like to make sure that you're informed. Josh seemed to be more of a...
I said that because I know that you've had a hard day and I didn't want to upset you. And I know how much you love the people of this country. So I'm just looking out for you.
I think Josh is projecting. I don't think he knows what your days are like. I mean, unless I'm not being involved in other sidebar conversations with the Supreme Leader, which I would love to be a part of. If Josh knew that you had a tough day, then
we
that's
talk
news to me.
We talk sometimes. We talk sometimes when you're not around. Yep, we can talk when you're not around. We have conversations. What is it that we were talking about the other day? Right, that missile test. How much you loved pushing that button? Huh? I remember that. We had a moment. We locked eyes. Hey Kim, I'm thinking about getting the same haircut as you. Where's your barber? Not to change the subject, but can I get a recommendation?
Josh, you're bald. You're bald. Take the hat off. Show the Supreme Leader what we know now that you're just blowing smoke up the Supreme Leader's ass.
I think what I hear you saying is that the Supreme Leader's love does not make all things possible, where I'm saying it does. If I'm bald today, that doesn't mean I can't channel the visage of our dear leader.
Well, let's revisit the Supreme Leader's love. You know what the Supreme Leader would have really loved is to win a medal in skateboarding, and that is, as far as I remember, was your your responsibility.
It was,
and I don't think that they ended up winning.
You know,
medal.
Well, so number one, I think it all comes down to how you define that word, winning, right? Do I think we won a medal? No, not this year. Do I think we obtained a priceless moral victory? I do. We can't have our kids running around with the baggy pants and the Tony Hawks. It's not going to work for us. As soon as I saw, and as soon as I could bear witness to the, well, let's just call it what it is, the Jenko culture, I could not have been more repelled. And I instructed our people to look as if they were trying hard, but to ensure that they didn't meddle. You don't want that medal, dear leader. And I think it's interesting that Rich thinks you do. I do think that's interesting. And I'm not saying that's good or bad. That's not for me to say. That's for you to say, dear leader. But I'm saying it is curious, perhaps.
I just think that medals are medals. Listen, if we're trying, the message that I received was win as many medals as possible. We tried to get one in cycling BMX freestyle. The problem we had here is that our country, the bikes they use in the Olympics are two wheels. We have only unicycles.
We have the unicycles.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
And we tried last minute to tie two unicycles together, and then you can imagine the physics issues we came up with. We experienced with that.
Turns out a two-wheel bicycle is way more complex than we had accounted for, and that's on us, right? We could have known that. We couldn't have. I mean, it's not like we can watch skateboarding or BMX on television. And, we can't have that. People would enjoy it too much. It would distract them from their bikes, which generate our electricity. But, it would have been a little bit helpful had we seen a bike prior. I think that may have been an advantage.
So I think what we're trying to get at here is that, the reason we can boil it down to three things here, why we didn't win more medals. The nod ability. We didn't have electricity to watch or even know what was required to compete in these sports, the equipment,
Not to mention at night we have to stop training because we can't see anything. That's tough.
yeah,
So
we
get
tried
less
we
training
tried
now.
training at night. We tried training at night, specifically with the karate team, right?
Right.
And
Right.
we had a lot of
Would
people
get that kind of Miyagi blind super sense.
yeah, tried
work.
that. Turns out the movie, and Miyagi is from Karate Kid. It's a movie that we may or may not have seen.
Westernist propaganda.
Propaganda. And when people train in the dark, turns out they don't heighten their senses. They end up punching the wall and breaking their hands.
Yeah, there were injuries there. And when we got to the Olympics, we were shocked to find out that they keep the lights on the entire time. There was not a minute, like pretty much all night the lights were on, right, Rich? I think it was all night. I went to sleep at one point.
Lumens, illuminated.
Yeah, lumens
is the word I would use to describe the Olympics. If one word, illuminated.
Like how many lumens? I mean, it was more. It was a lot of lumens.
It was more than 20 or 30. I don't know the measure of a lumen, but I'm guessing, just using what I know about light, that it was probably more than maybe even 32 or 3.
Educated guess,
right?
Could have been up to 20 or 30 lumens, and just to expect our people to perform under that. Now that said, I do recommend that we kill them all. I do think that is the proper course of action because really they failed you personally, and they kind of disgraced our country on a national stage.
Well,
so I think
if I could just offer one note to what Josh has said, I do think we kill the ones that didn't medal, and the ones that did, we make them procreate with each other. I think that's the way to go about this. And then we kill them and we get rid of them.
Right.
The babies come out of the womb and go right into the Ministry of Sport.
Right down a luge.
Yeah, that's it. Just slide them right down in there into, they're going to start training for the surfing team.
Yeah.
3-on-3 basketball.
Although the surfing is going to be tough because of the moat.
The swimming. Yeah, right. Oh, and the boat.
The
moat.
Mess with the tides and the waves. See, this is what we're talking about. You see what we mean? We've kind of backed ourselves into a corner here. The one thing we can all agree on is that someone's going to die. Now, we want to address the issue of our beloved athletes taking a picture with the South Korean team. Now, a picture, we've learned, is some kind of a magic box that captures a moment. We think it might also steal the souls of the people who are being photographed. But either way, they wanted to take a picture together. And Rich was saying that we should let him slide on this one. Not so sure. I don't know if
that's not what I said.
I think you said that. I think you said, let's let them slide. They're good people. It was only one picture.
No. When I said slide, I meant the procreation slide that they're all going to use, that we're going to use after we force mate those Olympians. And then we can dispose of. My
mistake.
I understand what you meant, but yeah, it was the procreation.
I'm on board with the procreation slide. I think that was my idea. Don't remember who said it first. Might have been me. Anyway, what should we do with them?
We just I mean, look, it's really up to you, Supreme Leader. We don't want to make the decisions for you.
That's right. Your will is the will of the people.
As counsel here, we're just floating ideas. And I mean, one idea is to we do have to at least isolate them. They know about cameras, and of course that's something that we try to keep from people. And
we do not want people going around snapping photos around the palace here, do we, Kim? No, we do not. We do
Well, we
not
don't.
want them
It's
saying
not that. It. I think in just again to offer Josh some notes here. I think he's jumping past the actual problem here. Is that the camera itself is not so much the problem as it is the knowledge that they exist. That's the problem.
Right. Is that device from Men in Black a real thing? The one that wipes memories? And do we have one?
Do we have one? I thought we might.
We should,
but
we might, and and if we do, we should use it.
We should, and we should also look on Temu. I think our
Temu.
guys over in China might have one of those, and they
It's
probably
the only,
sell them.
it's the only good internet, the Chinese internet. It's the only internet I like. Some of the Russian stuff too, but mostly just the
internet,
Chinese.
Just to be clear, the internet is the this thing called the chat room where you go and you can talk to the people through the computer box.
Right. It's like a computer box that is somehow connected to another computer box, even though they're not in the same place. And I guess both places have electricity. It seems hard to believe that two cities could have electricity in the same country. I don't know. The whole thing seems a little bit made up to me, but people were talking about it a lot. I heard that same thing. And I asked them questions, but they seem to be amused by my questions more than willing to answer.
And you're not ever sure who's on the other computer box, and it's weird because they're not talk words, they're type words, and so there's sometimes
C words, not hear words. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, and so whenever you see words, whenever you read the C words, it's sometimes not as easy to understand the intonation of the speak, and that's why we're here. I mean, we like the face-to-face interaction. We could have sent you a computer box message when you power it up for the 45 minutes a month where we have enough electricity to do so, but we didn't. Again, there's time constraints there. Our computer box is. It turns out we would have to go elsewhere to get a computer box that worked, and it was just too much.
That's right. And we didn't want to eat into your Animal Crossing time, and there's a lot of things at play here. But so that's what it was. As they say overseas, it is what it is. I'm not sure what that means, but in this case, it really is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is. It is what it was, and it is.
And will still be.
Always.
And scene.
We did that for half an hour.
Did we really?
Yeah. Yep.
We've got something there.
I think we just maybe we'll come up with I wonder if Google Gemini would do this. Just curious.
I think anytime you put in Kim Jong-un, maybe paint the picture of what he is rather than using the name to an authoritarian dictator.
Yeah, no. I'm thinking it'd be fun to do a Google Gemini generated idea for us to then start counseling on. Like it just gives us one and we have to go with it.
What do you mean?
You know what I mean?
Oh, I see. Like a prompt.
So we just give me a situation where two people don't want to talk to their boss about something
bad news. Yeah, about delivering
delivering bad news, and they're kind of throwing each other under the bus. Yeah. And then we just that's our idea.
That's my favorite aspect of it. Like we're both complete failures, and we're trying to spin it in a way that gives glory to the country, but also to us and not the other person.
Right.
Like
you started with Supreme Leader, man. I had a great line. I was hoping you'd go first because then I wanted to definitely be like, oh, good morning, Supreme Leader. I hope your slumber last night was restful.
Well, first of all, let me just say, how are you?
Yeah,
Look
right.
Great. That missile test
That's right.
last week was fantastic. I mean, kaboom. Am I right? What more do I have to say? I think it spoke for itself. That missile went pretty far, and I think it's not at all a leap to say that we've kind of got America right where we want them. It's our move. Ball's in our court. It's ours for the taking. Just say the word.
I'm like exhausted after doing that. My
Really?
brain is my brain maybe it's, I'm tired.
Yeah.
So I woke up at 6 something.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, man, that's an intense 30 minutes of improv. I don't think they do it for 30 minutes whenever they do improv.
No, they usually do them pretty quick. Quick
That's
bursts,
not
'cause
how
it's
we
hard,
do things.
It's hard to carry on. That's why.
Yeah. I think it's fun. It's a good, why not?
I think it's a lot of fun, man. I think it's a lot of fun. And I think we both would have been great improvers had we ever pursued that. I did it in college. I was in I had to try
We're doing
out
it
and
now.
everything. Did you know that?
We're doing it now. No, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I'm sure you'd
And
be
then
great at it.
I didn't stick with it. I kind of floated away into the social scene. But for the times I did show up, I did all right.
All this fucking, man, we spent too much time worrying about the fucking social scene instead of what we were actually like pursuing things we're good at.
It kills me.
Same.
Yeah. Eats me up inside. But I think we've both done a good job of correcting that in our adult life, especially you. You've done a great job of pursuing your passions. Do you want to see my new watch before we go?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, I'll show it to you only because you asked though.
How about, wow. That
Pretty
thing's
cool,
going to
huh?
get nicked up immediately.
No, it won't
It's
because
big.
it's titanium.
The screen's not titanium.
Screen is almost as strong as a diamond, crystal sapphire. What's cool is that if I go into the dark, if I'm in a dark area, it turns red, like a soft red, like a night vision color.
Like all the whole everything on the screen goes to monochrome red.
But the best part is that I wore it to play basketball last night. Oh my God, dude, basketball was I was so bad last night. I was so bad. I'm getting to the point now where I'm not at the place where I started, which was twice a week at the high school. I'm at an invite only gym with people who can actually young athletic people. VO2 max is my current health obsession. Do you know what that is? It's a health metric of your cardiovascular health.
Yeah.
Mine's not great. And I read an article that basically said you can't consider yourself fit if you have low VO2 max, and I do. So I get winded very, very quickly. I run out of energy very quickly. So I got to figure out, I think I'm going to start doing sprints to try to build up some stamina over the next 4 weeks before I never get to play basketball again.
Are you warming up before you play? Are you getting...
I stretch. Yeah, probably 10 minutes of warm up.
I think you need to be you need to gradually get warm before you start going 100%.
Yeah, I think I do. I think I gradually,
I have sweating before you start playing?
Yeah. And I'm wearing my watch the whole time so I can see my heart rate, right? But my heart rate gets up to above 160 to 170 at the end of my first game, and then it just stays there. You know, it's my body's working too hard to do what I'm doing. And in my mind, I know what to do, and I can vision myself shuffling my feet to stay in front of when I'm on defense. But my legs just don't. It's they're stuck in cement. It sucks. It fucking sucks.
Listen, man, I know you want to try to dig yourself out of that. That's when you're going to get injured.
I don't think I go hard enough to get a serious injury. No, but
you don't. But now, if you're saying I'm going to run sprints, I'm going to try harder.
Injured.
That's what it's going to start. Yeah. I know that's not what you wanted to hear.
What you mean. No, every night before I go play, my thought is is today going to be the day? I'm playing with I'm on borrowed time already, right? I've been playing now for almost a year every week, and it's a miracle I haven't been injured seriously. So knock on wood. We'll keep it that way.
Yeah, really. Yeah.
All right,
It's not
time
like
for
you
the.
have a new. Yeah,
Not like I
it's
have
not like you have
new
a
what?
baby coming.
Yeah,
new,
right.
a
Exactly.
new child to take care of or anything like that on the way.
Yeah. Someone hacked my bank account and paid their credit card bill with it.
What?
My old bank account.
How does
from
this
when I was a
happen to you?
bachelor. So
What?
it's the before Allison and I combined bank accounts, I had obviously had my own bank account with PNC, and now there's like $12 in it. I don't do anything with it, and probably haven't changed the password in a while because I don't ever log in. And I got a notification that it was overdrawn by $1,200, and I looked at the transactions, and it was someone paying a Citi credit card. And then I called the bank, and they were like, "Oh no, you have to wait for it to post before we can do anything about that." Let's not stop it while it's pending. Let's wait until it actually goes through. So that should be fun.
That's how it goes, I guess.
Yeah.
That's how it goes.
You've never had your credit card stolen?
I think maybe once.
Yeah, it happens, man.
Credit cards are one thing. Bank accounts are another thing. That
Well, it was my
that's
debit
not
card.
good.
Debit card number.
Yeah, I haven't used a
Same
debit
difference.
card in 10 years.
And neither have I. That's the problem, I guess. I actually don't know what the problem is or how it happened, but probably because PNC is like a janky bank.
Don't know what the problem is or how it happened. Josh
No.
Salkovitz.
I don't. I don't know either
That's
of
the
those things.
quote on your. That's the quote going on your tombstone. I don't know what the problem is or how it happened. All right, this is a good one. I look forward to
buddy.
continuing the politics hour with Josh and Rich.
So I have to go into the office on Friday. So we'll have to.
That's fine.
resume
I'm
next
actually
week.
going to be out of town, so that's no big deal.
Okay. All right, buddy.
All right, so next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday. See you then.
Peace.
Later.